I will run through the commissioners and ask you to basically introduce yourselves as the chair has suggested. Could we start with Ms. Ayaka Melitafa? Ayaka?
Yes.
Hi
yes,
there.
here I am.
Hi. Over to you.
Hello. Oh, thank you. My name is Ayaka Melitafa. I'm 18 years old. I've been in the climate activism space for about 3 years now, after my family and immediate community got severely affected by the water crisis. So were many other families in South Africa, and that was my drive to become what I am today. I'm part of the African Climate Alliance. I'm also the founder of the Ayaka Melitafa Foundation. I'm a commissioner on this board. There are a couple of other things that I'm doing, but I'm trying to keep it brief and short. But basically, I'm part of the civil society representatives, and I'm not the only youth voice, but I bring the youth voices forward to the commission so that we can be an active participants in the discussions that are held and be part of every discussion going forward, because there's nothing for us without us. I hope that was enough.
Thank you, Ayaka. And just to say, she's an active champion of the youth cause. She's already organized a youth dialogue at which I was invited to participate. And it's really exciting to see the things that you're busy with. It's great. It's really going to strengthen the commission. Could we go on to Dr. Brian Mantlana, please, from CSR? Brian, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi there. Over to you.
Can you hear me, Chippy?
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, colleagues, and good morning to everyone who's here. Good morning to other commissioners. My name is Brian. Brian Mantlana. I work at the CSIR. I lead the work on climate change at the CSIR. I lead 3 research groups that focus primarily on climate change issues. And I'm going to leave it there today for today, Chippy. Thank you.
Thank you. Very understated, as is usual with Brian. He's been driving a really exciting energy transition process. Ms. Mandy Boros from Eskom, could we have you next?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Morning, Chippy. Morning, Chair and all the ministers. It's Mandy Boros. I head up Eskom's Just Energy Transition Office and very keen on driving this just transition from the Eskom perspective, and very encouraged by what I heard this morning. And just to say that the last points made by the Secretary General really resonates. You know, how will we be judged as a commission? And so I think for me, the implementation part of it is key. So very looking forward to working with the rest of the commissioners and driving this program forward. Thanks, Chippy.
Thank you, Mandy. Next up is Ms. Joanne Bates from the IDC. Over to you, Joanne.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joanne Bates. I'm the Chief Operations Officer of the IDC. And one of the big shifts in the IDC over the last 12 months with our new strategy is a very much a focused approach on planning and projects. So very much looking at how we can integrate climate change and sustainability into our industrial development. I'm so very excited to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Next up is Mr. Desigan Naidu from the Water Research Commission.
Good morning, Chippy. Good morning, Valli, and hello, everyone. Yes, Desigan Naidu from the Water Research Commission, currently as CEO. but I also play in a broader water space globally as president of the Human Rights Water, which is a global NGO pushing for the human rights angles, and the Water Policy Group. And I'm really grateful for the upload of perspectives this morning. I think that's going to help our work immensely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Designate. Much appreciated. Next up is Ms. Mapaseka Lele, who is the GM Corporate Sustainability at Transnet.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Mapaseka Lele, General Manager at Transnet for Corporate Sustainability. My responsibilities include climate change, energy management, as well as environmental compliance. Like most of the commissioners, I'm very keen to the work that the Commission will be conducting. And as Transnet, as a state-owned company, we're very keen to support the government commitments on the Paris Agreement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Ms. Shamini Harrington from SASOL and BUSA. She's the chair of the BUSA Environment Subcommittee. Over to you, Shamini.
Thank you, Chippy, and morning to everyone, all protocol observed, and morning to my fellow commissioners. My name is Shamini Harrington. I'm officially representing BUSA on this commission. BUSA is Business Unity South Africa, but in my everyday job, yes, I do head up the climate change team at SASOL. So just from a business perspective, very encouraged by the statements made here today, very keen to get going, get sort of on the road and moving in terms of the substance of what the plan is to realize a just transition in South Africa. We often talk about the vision, the framework, really what is the plan and how do we ensure we maximize opportunities and minimize those risks. As we heard, lots of costs and lots of impacts, but we've got to manage this in a just way so we don't leave anyone behind. So Chippy, very keen and looking forward to the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamini. Next up is Ms. Princess Sakani Nkambule from the Black Business Council.
Good morning. I hope you can see me.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Olver, and good morning to my fellow commissioners, to the ministers, to the COEs or stakeholders that are represented today. I represent Black Business Council. I'm a serial entrepreneur in my life. I sit on several boards, but most important board that I really like is the CEDA board, where we promote entrepreneurship and facilitate the development of small enterprises by providing customized business support services that result in obviously growth and sustainability. And we are also aligned with the government imperative that says, we need to drive development in the township and rural spheres. I see a lot of opportunities for our entrepreneurs. I see a lot of opportunities for localization. I'm hoping that in the next session, we'll be able to share, some of those important areas like the first Black lady. She's a PhD chemistry student in Gqeberha, in one of our incubators. She's in the final stages of the local production of the first biodigester in this country. So there are many interesting, innovations that we see, because biodigester is all aware, it provides clean and affordable gas to our rural communities or any other household. The biofuel also is another sphere, but I'm hoping, Dr. Olver, don't want to take a lot of time, but I see, through this community, through this climate change, reskilling of our people, assisting our communities to embrace this green economy, as well as ensuring that our entrepreneurs, get local opportunities. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it's a real asset having you on the commission, because clearly in the just transition, our economic transformation objectives have to be driven as well. Next up is another person who's going to play a key role in driving the space, and that's Mr. Setlakalani Molepo from the NEF. Over to you, Mr. Molepo.
Thank you very much, Olver, and to the chair, Dr. Valli Moosa. My name is Setlakalani Molepo. I'm from the National Empowerment Fund. My role there is the Divisional Executive Strategy Planning and Significant Investments, including some of our non-financial support. I think for me, really, what is key is that with the NEF, an institution that was established post-democracy to facilitate Black economic participation, it is important that as the only agency that has been mandated to grow broad-based Black economic empowerment, how do we, in all of what we are doing, ensuring that things aggregate towards ensuring that those that are marginalized, those that are disadvantaged, are actually brought in to ensure that they benefit from the spin-offs of what we are actually engaging on as government, as commissioners, and everyone else that is involved today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Next up is Ms. Joanne Bates from the National Business Initiative.
Morning, everybody. Morning, Valli, Chippy, morning, ministers and fellow commissioners. It's been a wonderful morning of listening to a set of very inspiring inputs from pretty much everybody who has spoken. And I think it lays a great foundation for the work that we're going to need to do. I'm the Chief Executive of the National Business Initiative. We're going to talk a little bit later about the work that we've been doing around climate change. The NBI has worked on climate change issues in the private sector since the early 2000s, in fact, and the work that we're doing now, I think, takes the potential contribution of the private sector to another level. So we're excited to present that to you. I've worked myself in the sector for a very, very long time, since the mid-1990s, in fact. And looking back, I think that, in fact, we've come a long way. And a lot of work over many, many years, I think, is at the point where we can really move forward as a country. In this commission, one of the issues that I am really concerned about is that when we talk about just transition, we look at it right across the board, across a very wide set of sectors. I work, in addition to my NBI job, I work in the biodiversity and in the forestry sectors. I contribute there. And for me, the issues of dealing with the potential impacts on workers and on communities of the impacts of climate change in a range of sectors, especially in sectors, rural areas, is a critical part of what we also need to address. So I've been very inspired by what we've heard today. Yeah, and I think that we can do great work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Next up is Mr. Mbulaheni Mbodi, who is from Eskom, and he's the office bearer for NUMSA. Over to you, Mr. Mbodi. Mr. Mbodi, are you with us?
Oh, I was on mute. Sorry about that.
Yes, good.
My name is Inas Mbodi from NUMSA, representing the metal workers in this Climate Change Commission. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Short and sweet. We have Ms. Lebogang Mwale, who is from the who's the Labour Market Policy Coordinator for COSATU. Lebogang, over to you.
Thanks, Crispian. Let me just quickly switch on. Thank you. My name is Lebogang Mwale. I am the Labour Market Policy Coordinator for COSATU. One of the things that we do, and we've kind of structured it in the labour market policy function, is to look at how we help workers to transition, whether it be through to the fourth industrial revolution or whether it be through the low carbon economy. That's where we're primarily focused on. So very happy to be here, like the others have all indicated. And I think the General Secretary has already done a good job in covering our expectations from organized labour, and particularly in COSATU, as to what our views are. I think from the first to the second meeting, we've made great progress. We now understand that jobs are not going to be a byproduct of this process. We need to be quite direct and very purposeful in how we position ourselves, as well as the work streams, in order to really take advantage of how we substantially plan for jobs and how we craft that jobs plan within this process. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are inspiring words. Next up, Mr. Jacques Hugo, who's the Vice President for Youth and Development at FEDUSA. Mr. Hugo.
Chairman, Deputy Chairman, Honourable Ministers, fellow Commissioners and presenters. I'm Jacques Hugo. I represent FEDUSA. It's indeed a privilege to be part of this new wave of energy on the climate agenda. This morning's discussions was very insightful. As a Labour representative, just transition has a different meaning to us and to lots of other role players. Chairman, and I echo GS Becky's comments earlier, that it's our task to indeed make sure that the transition is a just one. Thank you so much. Privileged to be on board.
Indeed, thank you for that. Next is Mr. Mac Chavalala, who is the NUMSA Regional Chairperson and SAFTU President. Over to you, Mr. Chavalala.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you, and morning to the Chair, Ministers, fellow Commissioners, and all guests. Indeed, my name is Mac Chavalala, the President of the South African Federation of Trade Unions, representing over 25 trade unions organizing across all sectors of our economy. And we are happy to be here and be part of this important commission. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. That's again really good to see you. Mr. Bongani Mwale is the NEC member for Sanko. Over to you, Mr. Mwale.
Yeah, no, thanks, Doc, and greetings to the chair, the ministers, the CEOs here, our GS, and thank you very much, yes, for that moving input. My name is Bongani Mwale. In my other official capacity, I'm the technical advisor to MEC for Health in Mpumalanga, but I'm also serve as the chairperson of Council of Harsibande TVET College. One of our commercialization projects that we want to embark on is to generate renewable energy towards the national grid as the college, as we enhance issues of work-based learning. But I'm excited, Doc and Chair and colleagues, to be here, obviously, given that we represent an important stakeholder, which is the communities. I'm a community activist, but leaning strongly to the left, having been raised from that school of thought that Minister Njemande is also operating outside his official capacity. I strongly believe we need to enhance community-driven adaptation approach to ensure that communities are at the center of what we do. But I'm glad that BOSA is here, because we should not be leaving SMMEs or SMEs in whatever strategies will be developing, because as the focus could be in big companies, but they are great and huge employers in the market as well. Chair, thank you very much to you. And I think you've brought a good resource in Dr. Olver. Magnificent work has already been done, and we're excited. We're going to contribute and ensure that we move the country forward indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's really good to have strong civic representation as we discuss these matters at the Commission. Next up is Ms. Louise Nordia, who is the Senior Manager for Climate Change at WWF South Africa. Over to you, Louise.
Good morning, Deputy Chair, Mr. Moosa, ministers and fellow commissioners. I think I know about half the commissioners, and very much looking forward to rolling up our sleeves and working with you and getting to know all the commissioners and doing the same with them. So I'm from the environmental organization WWF, and I'd just like to acknowledge that our CEO is also one of the observers in today's meetings. I've been working in the climate change space for over 10 years. I came here to WWF from top management in the private sector. My work has mainly been around policy, supporting and stretching government in this regard around climate. There are people in the House who will tell you whether or not we were useful. Then I do have specialist expertise in particular sectors, and I am fortunate as a commissioner that I'm also backed by a lot of technical expertise in WWF. And we also have done some work called Futures Food for Thought, which addresses a lot of the issues that people have been speaking about. For example, how do we migrate our mining sector to mine those materials that a low carbon economy needs, and so on. So I hope those will be resources to the Commission. And to say that I would just think that, Mr. Moosa, you have given us such a guiding light by saying the key question that we need to ask about everything we do being, does this leave workers better off or worse off? I would just add, we should be asking, does this leave workers and the poor worse off or better off? Because the transition is a big social question. It's not just limited to, certain emitting sectors. I think others have also brought in this bigger picture of different sectors into the room. So thank you.
Thank you, Louise. That's much appreciated. And I think the fact that your CEO is participating as an observer in the meeting is really noted. And thank you for the support from your organization. Next up is Mr. Bobby Peake, who needs no introduction as an environmental campaigner. He used to give me a really hard time when I was DG in the department, although he's promised to give me a slightly easier ride initially in this commission. So Mr. Bobby Peake, the Director for Groundwork.
Hi, Deputy Chair, Ministers, Dr. Olver, and fellow commissioners. Yeah, I'm dealing at a very personal level with a just transition challenge of my own, which the General Bantu Misa will know very well, in the form of Engen Oil Refinery, who's trying to pack up and probably leave without thinking about a just transition. So at a very personal level, I'm touched by this. But essentially, I work for Groundwork, and we work with communities that are challenging and are on the front lines of the coal industry. We've challenged Eskom with the Life After Coal campaign for many years. We are working with communities that are challenging the oil refinery sector. Sasol is key to this in terms of their chemical industries, as well as now the push for gas. So essentially, there is a recognition by what was said earlier this morning that there are loads of jobs in a new world, in a new process, and that's what we want to be able to consider. I think we want to assist the Commission into being able to speak to the people that I've mentioned, the workers that are now unemployed, so that they can add their own voice and power to this. We must do this in a way, Chippy, that gives meaning to our constitutional commitments of not only participating, but make sure everybody understands what they're talking about and what they want to make input to, rather than just dependent upon science and technical people. And finally, I think it's critical that as the commissioners, we face and we have to reach an agreement on what we understand by various terms, such as net zero, green industrialization, because we cannot ban these terms around without understanding our agreements and our disagreements with those terms, because we will be delivering a very confused message to South Africa. I don't mind disagreement, but we just need to agree upon that and make sure that it's shared outwardly. Thank you very much, Chippy.
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby, for those words. Yeah, we look forward to robust and active discussions. Mr. Happy Kambule is the political advisor for Greenpeace Africa. Over to you, Mr. Kambule.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Good morning, everyone. All protocols observed. My name is Happy Kambule, and I'm from Greenpeace Africa, as you just heard, and also coming from the South African Climate Action Network. The main aim for my participation is to push the envelope and to ensure that whilst we are talking about the many, many issues that we are faced with, we are still cognizant of future generations as well as the current ones that are vulnerable. So thank you for the opportunity.
Good, thank you, Mr. Kambule. Next up is the General, Mr. Bantu Holomisa, who is the chair of the Champions of the Environment Foundation. Over to you, General.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Bantu Holomisa, as you have said. The former...
we can't see you. Oh, yeah, now we can see you. Yeah.
You want to see me? You are ungovernable, Chairperson. I'm the former Deputy Minister of Environment who initiated the development of the current environment policy in this country in 1994. I'm here in my capacity as the chairperson of the Champions of the Environment Foundation. We have been betting on this wicket for some time now. We have helped traditional leaders, for instance, during 2017, together with the Department of Environment, we planted about 34 indigenous trees at Enyogeni Great Place with the King of the Zulus. We also hosted a number of conferences with the University of Pretoria with a view to talk about carbon taxes. And we have also initiated a number of discussions around the issue of dealing with the threat of desertification in the country, especially in the rural areas where people have they just cut fence off, and you'll find that the ecosystem has been affected as a result of that. Yes, during the time I was the deputy minister, I initiated the project to stop culling of elephants in Kruger National Park, working with the IFO, International Fund for Animal Welfare. We relocated those animals to Ado in the Eastern Cape. Yes, of course, like you, Chairperson, I hate the lack of waste management strategy for our country. South Africa today is the filthiest country in the world. Every corner, you see waste being dumped all over, which means that there is a lack of a culture of ownership. We need to come up with some kind of advice to the State Department. Finally, I'm happy that the Honorable Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, is here, perhaps to assure us that there is enough money, given that Tokyo's trillions have been announced recently, which are intended, if the money is here really, that would then help us to upgrade our technology in general, given that South Africa has been lagging far behind on technology because of the history of this country, where at once we're faced with sanctions. Good luck. I'm looking forward to participate on this. But Chairperson, my apologies. This afternoon I have to fly to Umtata for a funeral tomorrow. So I won't join you after lunch. But I wish you everything of the best.
Yeah, but General, you forgot to say that you are the former dictator of the Transkei.
Yes, that one is well documented. Don't worry about that. Even Matiba, when he introduced me to a number of leaders in UN and in Europe, he says, traveling with me, yeah, is Bantu Olomesa, a dictator from Transkei. So don't worry.
Good, thank you, General. Next is Ms. Melissa Faree, who's the Executive Director for the Center for Environmental Rights. Over to you, Melissa.
Thanks. Good day, Deputy Chair, Secretariat, Ministers, and hi there, fellow Commissioners. I am Melissa Faree, as
Sorry, Melissa, we can't hear you properly. There's a big noise there. Are you on an aeroplane or in a helicopter?
Try something else.
It sounded like you were on a tractor.
Is that better?
No, your sound quality is terrible, Melissa.
I'm just going to leave and rejoin. Maybe you can continue with the other commissioners.
Okay, I'll take Makuma next. So next is Ms. Makuma Kalakala. She's the Chief Executive Officer of EarthLife Africa. Over to you, Makuma.
Good morning, and all protocols observed. I'm not a Chief Executive Officer, I'm just a director. And okay, thanks very much for the introduction. I think the work or the process that we are involved in presents us with an opportunity towards transforming gender norms towards gender equality and enabling opportunity for all society to participate in combating climate change and shaping a fair and just transition. But also, I think what I'm looking forward to is us put our efforts together in making sure that there's decent jobs, but also prioritizing the most important needs by affording citizens the best hope for dignity, health, and safety. We are aware that this is going to be an expensive task for all of us, but then if we're not going to act, it's going to be much more heavier for people and the planet. But I believe, and this is what I think we've set ourselves out to do, to put mitigation at the top of our agenda. And then adaptation can be enhanced, ensuring the curbing of temperature rises that can be detrimental to life on Earth. This work that I think we have, it's driven by experiences that people all over face. Thereof food insecurity, thereof in access to electricity, and some others facing climate change-induced natural disasters. This informs the urgency of the task ahead of us, and we need to act. And I hope that through this commission, we would be able to act and ensure that life continues on Earth. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Makuma. I'm not sure if Melissa's rejoined us. I don't.
I am here.
Oh yeah, there you are. That's much better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Apologies, I'm out in the Southern Cape at the moment, so I'm not in my usual setting. I apologize. So good day, everybody, fellow commissioners, ministers. I am Melissa Faree, and I'm the Executive Director of the Centre for Environmental Rights. We are a non-profit public interest environmental law organization that work with communities and civil society organizations to realize environmental rights and climate justice through advocacy and litigation. Most of you will know CER, as we are known for our work in environmental and climate litigation and advocacy and litigation around air pollution from coal in Mpumalanga, together with our partners Groundwork and Earthlife, also part of the commission. The CER also lead the Life After Coal campaign, which works to discourage the development of new coal-fired power stations and mines, reduce emissions from existing coal infrastructure and encourage a coal phase out, and enable the just transition. And so you can expect to hear us talk a great deal about the justice aspects of the just transition, environmental, social, health, gender, and climate justice. I am a lawyer by training, and I have a particular interest in the constitutional, governance, and regulatory aspects of climate change and the just transition, and I offer my skills and expertise to the Commission in this regard. I am mindful of the responsibility on the Commission, also listening to everyone this morning, and the responsibility on us as commissioners and the scope and the weight of the task we have set ourselves. As many speakers acknowledged here this morning, climate change is surely the greatest challenge of our time. In South Africa, just adapting to those changes already locked into our system pose the risk of further exacerbating our existing triple challenge of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. What we do here in the Commission over the next couple of years will set the course for how this is going to play out. And so I imagine there will be areas of disagreement, but I do ask that as commissioners, we go beyond existing positions and vested interests and to be courageous as a commission, to make those recommendations necessary to create a better, more just and equal, more resilient society for all our people, not just those living now, but also those who will live here after us. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. I must say it's really helpful not just to have a champion of social justice, but to have a lawyer on the Commission. And he may well be turning to you for a number of areas of assistance. Chair, I think that's all the commissioners. I hope I haven't left anyone out.